My name is Pragyan. Sometimes when I look at the world, I see there is so much bad going around. I feel, why does God just sit and do nothing about it? It actually makes me wonder if God actually exists at all.
Pragyan, your question is a very common one. People see suffering in this world, they see suffering as a reality. And then they wonder that if there is a God, why doesn't He finish the suffering that exists in the world? First of all, there is a definition of God that is universally accepted, that He is all knowing, He is all powerful. So, if He is all knowing, is He not aware of our sufferings? And if He is aware, then He is all powerful. Doesn't He have the ability to finish our sufferings? In fact, the recent flooding that took place in Uttarakhand, it converted many people into disbelievers and atheists. I met so many people who said, my belief in God has been shaken. If there is a God, why did He permit this to happen? We can make a lot of expectations from God. Forget about finishing sufferings. Why doesn't God make me fully knowledgeable? It's within His ability to do so. Why doesn't God release me from the material energy? Why is He leaving me here in the first place? Why doesn't He make me a God-realized saint? Now, let us think, are these demands that we put on God actually reasonable? Take God out of the picture for a while and consider the government of the country. Now we have prisoners because we've got so many prison houses in our country, and we have these prisoners. Now, if a prisoner says, it is within the purview of the powers of the government to release me, why is the government not releasing me? Why is the government so dysfunctional? The government will say it is within our purview and jurisdiction. But the question is, you take a look at what you deserve. You are in the prison house because that is what you deserve. And that is what you are getting from us. Don't blame us, blame yourself. Similarly, God's purview and jurisdiction is infinite. But we should take a look at what we deserve. It is said that the law of God is, you do not get what you desire, you get what you deserve. We are here in this material realm, which is ultimately a place of suffering. And we are here because that is what we deserved. Out of our own free volition, out of our own free choice, we made a decision that I wish to turn my back towards God. And that choice of ours to turn away from God brought us here in this material realm. So, we are here by our own free choice. Now, the world is a place of suffering because it is ultimately like the prison house of God. It is for souls like us who have not chosen God, who have chosen to go away from God in our consciousness. And hence, we are suffering in this world. For example, if you visit a hospital and you find all patients there, and then you go to the manager's office and say that, why is it that this building is full of sick people? What's wrong here? The manager will say, you are looking in a hospital, it's natural you will find sick people. Similarly, when we look in this material world, where materially conditioned souls reside, it is natural that we find suffering. That is the nature of this world. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. Don't blame God for it. If you want better, you deserve better. How do you deserve better? By turning around towards God, by becoming God conscious, by surrendering to Him. And then God says that this is not my only abode. I have my divine abode. न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम paramam mama. He says, Arjun, having gone where once, the soul never returns to this place of suffering again. That is my divine abode. So if we want to see God's creation free from suffering, full of knowledge, full of love, full of bliss, we have His divine abode, which is referred to as Golok, Saket Lok, Vaikunt Lok, Shiv Lok, Devi Lok, Paravyom. It's got many names. But when we are looking in this world, then we should not be astonished when we see suffering. And ultimately, this suffering also has a purpose. We want a world where we are happy. And if we don't get happiness, we blame God and say there's a fault in His design. But this world was not made for us to be happy. The world was made for us to learn, to grow, to evolve, and to rise. It's just like a child goes to school or to college. Now the child may say that why do we have this examination system out here? I want to pass without having to give exams. So the teachers will say the purpose of the school is not that you pass and go into the next class. The purpose of the school is that you learn. And the examination system is just to encourage you to learn. Now, if you were to pass without learning, the examination system would not succeed. Similarly, in this world, if we were to become happy without becoming better people, the purpose of God's world would not be served. That is why both these have to exist, this duality of happiness and distress, of actions and their good and bad consequences. So when suffering comes in our lives, or when we see suffering in the world, we must not be swayed from our faith in God. We must understand that suffering has been placed in the world for a purpose. And God's purpose is that we should be inspired to move away from sin, to move away from forgetfulness of God and from worldly consciousness, and claim that spiritual inheritance which is ours as children of God, which is His divine knowledge, His divine love, His divine bliss, and which is waiting for all of us if we can only turn around to Him. So, if we do see any suffering in this world, it is God's way of telling us to move away from worldly consciousness in the direction of spiritual consciousness. For example, when you put your hand in the fire, two things happen. The first is your hand starts getting burnt. And the second is you experience pain. Now the hand getting burnt is a bad thing. And the pain is a good thing. We want to run away from the pain. And we say, so terrible, if I could take a painkiller and finish this pain, everything would be all right. But if we did not experience the pain, we would not realize that our hand is burning. and the loss would be tremendous. So the pain is a blessing, and the burning of the hand is the wrong thing. Similarly, in our state of forgetfulness from God, we are experiencing suffering. That suffering from the divine perspective is actually a blessing. That is letting us know there is something wrong. There's something that I should be doing that I'm not doing. And that suffering then puts us on to the right track. So there is really no fault in the design of God. And if our faith gets shaken when we see the suffering in the world, we must enhance our knowledge, our understanding of the nature of God, the nature of the self, the reason why we are here. And when our faith becomes situated on this solid platform of knowledge, we will find that no matter what we see, no matter what we hear, our faith is not shaken. In fact, it is only further enhanced and further strengthened.
Swamiji, thank you so much for such enlightening answers, and we extend our heartfelt gratitude for the same. Thank you so much.
Thanks to all of you for your questful attitudes and penetrating questions.